Well, hello and welcome to another Bible and Theology FAQ devotional. Today we are looking at the question of Maundy Thursday. Maybe you have heard this word thrown around today because it is Thursday of Holy Week, and in many Christian traditions, this week is celebrated as a holiday called Maundy Thursday. It's always the Thursday before Easter, and sometimes it's called Maundy Thursday, sometimes it's just called Holy Thursday. And what it is, it's an ancient Christian observance that goes all the way back to the very early centuries of Christianity. We have references going back to the first few centuries of the church, but it really became popular during the Middle Ages, around the 12th century. And what this holiday is all about is really found in the name. The name Maundy seems a little bit strange to us, but Maundy is actually derived from the Latin word of mandatum or mandatum, meaning a commandment. And what the commandment it's referring to is the commandment that Jesus gave when he had the Last Supper with his disciples in the upper room. You may remember that evening right before he went to trial and was ultimately crucified. He gathered his disciples and he washed their feet. And then after that incredible act of humility and love, he gave this statement. He said, "A new command I give to you, love one another." He said, "As I have loved you, so you must love one another." And so Jesus said something very profound to his disciples there and something very profound to us. He said, here's what it looks like to follow after me. Here's a command that I'm giving you, to love one another. But not just love one another in some generic way. He said, love one another in the same way that I have loved you. Now, in the immediate context, what he was talking about there was how he had just washed their feet, and that was a very humbling act. To wash someone's feet was the act that normally a servant or a slave would do, but Jesus got down on his knees and washed the disciples' feet, demonstrating this great attitude of humility toward them. But that was really just a small picture of the real humility and the ultimate act of humility that Jesus was about to demonstrate, which is when he was willing to go to the cross and to suffer and die on our behalf. And so again, Jesus says, here's the commandment. I want you to love each other in the same way that I have loved you. And when you understand what he meant by that, how he loved us, that brings real profound meaning to that statement. And so as followers of Jesus, we need to understand and appreciate that one of our most fundamental commandments to follow is to love others through serving them. And we look at the incredible example of Christ and how he served us so humbly and went to incredible lengths and suffering and ultimately death to serve us. And he says that is how we are called to serve one another. And so I'd encourage you to think, as part of your remembrance of Jesus during this very important week of Holy Week, I hope that you are reminded not only of how Jesus served us by going to the cross and ultimately through the resurrection, but ultimately how he has called us to serve others. And so as a part of this, I encourage you to think about how can you serve your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, even strangers, the people in your life. Remember, Jesus served us, and now we are called to serve others. And so I'd encourage you to think about that. And here's some questions to ponder on. How can you act more humbly with those around you in your life? And the people you have in your life, who have you really neglected to serve? And how can you start to serve them? And so I'd encourage you this week, as we think about Maundy Thursday today, that you would remember that Christ has served us. And in serving us, he also gave us this very important mandate or commandment, which is we're called to love and serve others.